Guys, quick, subscribe to the channel in the next 10 seconds or nothing is actually going to happen. Honestly, like only 20% of you guys who watch my content are subscribed, so if you really want to support me as a creator, just please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. That's actually all I ask for you to do. It's completely free. You can always unsubscribe in the future if you don't enjoy my content anymore. Just please give me a chance. Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Fxtch here, back with a brand new YouTube video. Now in today's video, what I'm going to be telling you guys is how you can make the best Fortnite thumbnails ever. Like, you guys have asked for it. I'm a man of the people. I'm going to give you the content you want. I asked you all for video ideas and so many people asked about my thumbnails, who makes them. I actually made them myself, so you guys want me to make a tutorial on how I make my thumbnails, and that's what I'm doing today. It's kind of that simple. You know, if you got any other video ideas, comment them down below as well. I'm always happy to do your video ideas. You guys are the ones that support me. You make my dreams come true, so the least I can do is just give you the content you want. But yeah, if you go ahead to enjoy this video, the least you can do for me is drop a like. You can also subscribe to the channel with post notifications turned on, therefore you never miss an upload, just like this. Oh, and if you guys want to support me any further, you can use my code in the item shop. It's just literally code Fxtch. You don't even have to buy anything in the item shop. Literally just put the code in the shop. And if you also want to be rewarded for that, send proof in my Discord. I'll link it down below and you can get a shout out in one of my videos. So getting straight into this, I think the first thing we're going to talk about is what software, or I guess application, I use to create my thumbnails. It's actually Photoshop. You can see it down here on my display tray. Adobe Photoshop. I use a 2020 version. Let me just open it here. Now Photoshop, you do technically have to pay for. I think it's around $30 per month, which is kind of pricey if you think about it. But there are actually loopholes to paying for it. You can actually just crack the software. It may be a little bit buggy at times, but it works. It does the job. And also for the most part, there are actually free applications or alternatives you can use that do work in a similar fashion. So you could actually just mirror what I do in this video and it should like translate over to whatever software you wish to use. Now actually on Photoshop, I just opened this. This is my thumbnail template. So I created this thumbnail template just to make my life a little easier. So I actually put all my favorite assets like backgrounds, everything like that, all into one document. So I literally just open this and I get to work. And now the reason I've drew the red line is because unfortunately I can't give you guys these layer styles. Now basically what they're called is layer styles is how like the text look, but I don't really want to show you guys these. The reason I don't want to do that is because I actually paid for these layer styles. So I actually do have like my own like folder here with a ton of thumbnails I've made in here, but there are a few graphics packs that I've actually paid for myself. So I actually brought this one, which is called QTFN's layer style pack, which actually I guess I could show you because you can only get the numbers, but basically all these fonts here, these are all a part of a layer style pack. So everything you're seeing on the screen, I paid for these and they're like pre-made for me. So just say I want to use this one, which is a common one I'm using in my thumbnails. What I'll do is I literally just select it and I can change this to say anything. So I don't know, like drop a like on the video, like literally I can just do that. And now like that is literally like half the work done for me. This is the text and it looks good, you know. But yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to give you guys this within the video. I paid for it. If you guys want to buy this, I'll link it down below and you can actually go out your way and buy these layer styles yourself. But it's the same with a lot of things. So like these skies, these backgrounds here, I also did pay for these. So if I go and open this one right here, Wave Assets Pack, I think this was about $5. I know the layer styles were like $6 I think, but this is basically another graphics pack and this has everything in here from actual good renders, really cool effects, sparkles, like a ton of Fortnite related stuff. Like literally everything you can want is in this one pack here, which I just basically collected the best assets that I use myself and just put them into my own pack, so it's a lot easier. But there is actually a free version you can use and it's this pack right here, Hippo Clash's free Fortnite Chapter 2 graphic pack. This one's actually free. It's actually like an alternative to the packs I just shown you, but in here you can literally get all these borders which you can actually use and put around your thumbnails. I think they look kind of cool. There's some stock arrows you can use, so you can like put these red arrows in your videos. That's a really big thing about thumbnails, putting red arrows in them. Like I don't know, people just do it, makes thumbnails look a lot better. You can use these speed lines which just add a touch to your thumbnail. And also probably one of the best parts, there literally are renders in here. I think there's like 200 total renders. Like if you could see here on my layers, there's so many renders, but I can choose through these. I actually use the renders in my thumbnails from this right here. So just in my thumbnails about how to improve aim, I'd probably use like a render like this. I'll literally go to this pack, I'll duplicate layer over to my actual canvas I guess, and I'll obviously position it how I want. I'll add some touches of course, and even just this with like I don't know, this background here, like I can make something real simple here. Like if I just maybe resize this, just do some simple shading. So let me add a blur. This is a great touch to make to a background. Just add lens blur. If I just bring this over to my main monitor here, let's add like 10 lens blur. So actually no, let's do like 12. It will slightly blur the background, looks a little bit more realistic. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a inner shadow. I'm gonna change this to white here, change this to overlay. I'm gonna lower my distance. I usually put this on about 5 and then I just up this. I can actually have this on 10 for this. It's all like different per thumbnail. So I'm gonna do like I think 15, and as you can see, if I change it to 100%, which I usually do. You can barely see it, but it adds a very small like white glow around the character. If I zoom in here, you can probably see that right there. And then I usually add a drop shadow as well. So I'll also do this on white and on overlay. I'll probably have this on like, I don't know, 25, maybe have this on like 7. I usually just work with it again per thumbnail and see what works. But yeah, see, it has like that slight white glow, and I feel like it really does go a long way. But let's say I've done that. There we go. Like, we've already got half a thumbnail made. We've barely done anything. We haven't even added text, and for the most part, it doesn't look that bad. Like, that is a lot of the work done, and now all we have to do is just brainstorm, add some text, maybe add a red arrow, and that will just get the job done. Actually, let's just do it right now. So if I literally put how to improve aim, now of course this is going to be makeshift. I'm not really trying to like make a try hard thumbnail right now, but if I just mess with this a little bit, bring this closer together, I'm also going to add an arc. I usually like 2. I feel like it just makes it look a little bit cooler. I know it's like not perfect whatsoever. Usually I have different layer styles per word. I don't know, let's say I was just doing something like that. I can literally just bring this up, go like this. For the most part, obviously I think about better ways to put this, even if I just change it. So improve aim fast, I feel like that just, it looks a lot better on the side. So if I go like this, let's just bring this up a bit. If I move this render over to the side, and then we can put this above, there we go. Like, for the most part, that doesn't actually look bad at all. I'm also gonna put this red arrow here. I'm gonna like make it pointing to the character, so something like that, and I'm actually gonna put it below the text. So literally that right there, that would do the job. Obviously that took like 3 seconds. I didn't really put much thought into it. That's like better than a lot of people's thumbnails you would see on YouTube. And what you guys need to remember, a lot of this came from literally just this free pack, which I'll link this down below as well, so you guys can download this and get these renders, and also the other graphic packs and assets I also put into this. It resulted in this decent looking thumbnail. That's also without color correction. Like, nothing has really been added to this thumbnail besides the actual assets themselves, and it looks doable. But now guys, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna just go back, Control Z, all of this. There we go. So what I'm actually gonna do now for you guys is make a thumbnail for an actual video, which is pretty already uploaded by now. I think the video is the top 5 best gaming mice. I think I'll do like a speed up type of thing, but this should allow you to see like hand on how I make my thumbnails. So yeah, let's just, I guess, get straight into it. Okay guys, so I have now got to this point. This is a thumbnail I've came up with. I may change it later down the line, but basically I went with this. So my idea was either using just this kind of text, or instead, if I take away all this, I was going to use this red text instead, which is like a clean, just best mouse. But I generally did think that this text right here looked a little bit better, so I think this is what I'm going to go with. But yeah, you can see at the side, these are all the layers I went through. Yeah, a lot of work went into this. If I zoom in here, I got this gold confetti I kind of put into the background. And what I did is I went with the idea of blurring the mouse. So I got like a Logitech mouse off the internet. I blurred it, put like this red arrow, so it's like the mystery, right? And put Boogie on here. Yeah, I don't know, it works, right? But now what I'm gonna do is, this is a really good tip, so I had to mention this, but what I do is color correct and camera raw this whole thing. So now the thumbnail isn't finished, right? I want to make it look a little bit more vibrant and I guess clickable, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So what I usually do is just go to your first layer, or whatever is at the top. You want to click that, scroll all the way down to the bottom layer, press shift, and then just click the bottom layer, and that should select all of the layers you have worked with. You then want to right click that and press group from layers and just create a group. As you can see, I've created a group and all my layers are now in this one like folder basically. And then once you do that, what you want to do is just duplicate group. You then want to click your copy, then press merge group, and then right click it again and go to convert to smart object. And then it should look like this on like the layer. So basically then what you've got, you have your raw project with all the layers, so you can go back and change things, and then this will be the finished piece which you are going to color correct and tamper with. So basically now I've got this. I want to go to filter at the top and camera raw filter. Now when this loads, so what you want to do, it'll probably look a little bit weird, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here. So this is basically the thumbnail, and you basically just want to get to work with changing all these stuff. You can really just mess with it yourself and see what works, but I usually use similar settings each time. So I'll usually up the exposure. So I usually do 0.10 or actually 0.12, but for this I think 0.10 is viable. And then usually have my contrast on about 2 or 3, so it's always dependent. Usually I do 2. My highlights I tend to put on 20. It's also dependent on the thumbnail. For this I'm going to do 17. Shadows, let's do 2. So you really want to push your white. So there's actually like this line kind of gradient gradient on this layer style, I like to push that out. So as you can see, if I hide this white thing here, it basically just goes completely. So I usually put this on about 17 and that'll push out a little bit more, because bear in mind I still have to add more exposure and saturation, which will then push out this like little line here a little further. Texture I usually go to about 25 depending. Let's do 22. This should basically make certain things on the thumbnail pop. Clarity, this basically just makes things darker. It's weird how this works. So usually you don't have this too high, usually 2 or 3. If you have this too high, the thumbnail would look really dark and dull, which is kind of boring. Dehaze is similar. If I have this high, it just looks a little bit weird to me, so usually I have this on about 2. Now vibrance and saturation, these are the most important things. Now usually I think for this 15 vibrance works, but the saturation literally does wonders, especially for like a clickbait style thumbnail. And what I want to do is have this fairly saturated, but the only issue with that is if I make it really saturated, like 50, you can see Booga's skin is almost orange at this point, or like a reddy color. You don't want it to be like that, so you have to find like the perfect balance. Usually I go with about 20. I'm gonna do like 22 with this one, and I'm gonna probably go back and revise that, but for the most part that should work. And now moving down to curve, you basically just go back over what you just changed. I usually do 3, 3, and then 2 and 2. Detail, I usually add about 22 or 25 sharpening. Noise reduction, it never really changes much. I usually just do 15 on each, and then everything else I ignore. I go straight to effects. Grain I do 4, that's just personal preference. Realistically you don't need it at all. I just some reason add 4. And vignetting, if you have this up, it'll just give like a white edge basically, and if you put it down, it'll give like a black edge around the whole thumbnail. I don't know why. I just put this on like usually 3. But now if I click this, you guys can see the difference. It's not huge, but there's definitely a difference here. At least if you use a skin color, for example, like this just pops so much more. But once you do that, you want to press OK. It'll basically just apply the filter. Bang. There is a slight difference. Like it isn't huge, but you can see this is off, this is on. There's definitely a difference there. But once I basically do the filters, I then right click it and then go to rasterize layer. And now what I do is I duplicate that. And then I actually add some oil paint. So I go to filter, stylize, oil paints, and I usually add 2 on each side. If you look at Booga's face here, as you can see, when I apply it, it makes it look almost like paint. It looks very unnatural. So the reason I create a new layer is so I can erase the effect off his actual face and only have it on certain things like the text. So if I zoom in on the text here, you can see that it slightly has a more cartoony blend to the text. I feel like it looks so much cooler, so I do use this. So I'm going to actually apply that, and now I'm going to work on erasing it from his face because it really does look unnatural, and maybe his clothes, like it has this weird pattern almost. So yeah, literally what I do is I'll try and get a good sized brush and I'll literally just erase it completely from basically his entire face, and also his clothes. Like this literally looked really weird, so yeah, we're basically just going to get rid of that. Basically try and get each part of his clothes so we're not missing anything. Unfortunately this will mess up the text a little bit, but as long as it does the job, we are chilling. And also like I have a drop shadow at the top behind my little logo here. So it made like this weird black thing, so I just need to erase that. But now I've done that, I usually do like, can't really notice it, but if I go over, you can just see it's pushing out like this smoothness. So I'm going to go around this question mark because I kind of want it to be a little bit more highlighted rather than it to actually blend with the mouse. So I'm just going to erase this as well. And for the most part, the rest of it's okay. I kind of don't like how it blends with the yellow, so I'm going to rework it on the edges here, probably rework that logo there. And for the most part, it does the job. It looks decent, right? So what I'm going to do now is merge that down, and then we have like the full almost finished piece. I think I'm actually going to add some more vibrance, so we should do like 5, maybe up saturation by like 2, and then I'm going to rework the shadows and highlights a bit. So obviously the higher I have this, it kind of pushes out all the shadows. So what I'm going to do is have this on like, I think we'll do 1 here and we'll do 2 there, and I think that is done. I think that looks good. For me, that works. I'm happy with this. That's it, guys. That is how I make my thumbnails. A lot of it, again, I've paid for packs, but there is a free pack you can use again. I'll link it down below. It has all the renders and basically all the assets I use in this video. So for this thumbnail right here, you will find in that pack, so you can literally create exactly what I've just done. And also remember, guys, like this video wasn't here to actually show you how to use Photoshop. It's how to make a thumbnail. Like this thumbnail took probably like an hour at most, and I came up with this. Now it's going to take some time, it's going to take some work, but for the most part, this is a clickable thumbnail, and I'm probably using this on one of my videos right now. But I actually need to save this, so usually I just save it as JPEG. I just literally save it the normal way. Saving it any other way seems to mess up for YouTube, so I save it as a JPEG. I'll call it whatever I need to call it. So this is best mouse. I'm going to call it top 5 best gaming mouses in Fortnite Chapter 2. I'm going to press save, and then I usually have my quality set to 8 because any higher YouTube will basically not accept it. It will say like the file size is way too high and it can't upload. I press save here, and if I go into my files, bang, there we go. Thumbnail complete. That is a complete and finished thumbnail. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully this video could help in any way, shape or form. Again, all the links for anything I use in this video will be down below. The free pack, pack, the paid packs, anything like that. Honestly, there isn't much to it. I just use a ton of packs, which literally, they are like the base of my thumbnails. They just aid me to create what I'm creating. I have the layer styles, I have the text, self-explanatory. There isn't much that goes into it, and I can create a thumbnail as good as that, and it works. Now, if you guys got to this point in the video, you did enjoy it by any chance, the least you can do for me is drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. But yeah, I hope everyone has an amazing day. It's been your boy Fxtch, and yeah, peace.